First tonight, live pictures over the nation's capital as the U.S. has now responded to the drone attack that killed 3 U.S. soldiers in Jordan. The U.S. military launched an air assault on dozens of sites in Iraq and Syria used by Iranian-backed militias. President Biden and other top U.S. officials have been warning for days there will be a response, yet they kept the strategy under wraps. Now, the initial strikes hit command and control headquarters and ammunition facilities and others. Now, leaders have said that it would be a tiered response over time. Of course, this is still a developing situation. As soon as we learn more, we will update you on air and online at Dayton247now.com.
President Biden and the First Lady joining the grieving families of those 3 U.S. service members killed in that drone attack on Sunday. The dignified transfer of remains to U.S. soil is a solemn ritual. The 3 sergeants were all from Georgia. Their deaths are the first U.S. casualties in this conflict, blamed on Iran-backed militia groups. Now, the president says the soldiers embodied the very best of our nation.
Glad tidings on this Groundhog Day. An early spring is on the way.
Well, Punxsutawney Phil has spoken. It's a rare occasion when Phil predicts an early spring. So let's pray, fingers crossed, toes crossed, whatever you can cross. Let's pray that's the case this year. And let's send it out to meteorologist Tim Boyd, who's actually out in the warmer weather.
Yeah, it's a little chilly out here on the Watson's weather patio today. Temperatures right now in the right around 30 to 40. If I can get my there we go. It's working. 37 right now. We were closer to 40 earlier. 37 in Dayton, 36 as you head out towards Richmond. But there is a slight breeze out here, so it feels just slightly cooler. Temperatures right now right around 29, the feels like temperature, and then 28 as you head out towards Richmond. Dropping down to Middletown, feels like we're right around 37 degrees. Next couple of days, we're actually going to be well above average. So I guess the early spring this next week at least. Temperatures closer to 50 and then upper 50s by the end of the week.
The arrests of 2 Columbus police officers on federal drug charges could have a ripple effect on a number of pending and decided court cases. Now, they're accused of stealing multiple kilos of cocaine, putting the drugs on the streets. Stephanie Dupre spoke with Ohio attorneys on what's next.
Local defense attorney Doug Funkhauser with a long list of questions following the arrests of Columbus officers John Castillo and Joel Mefford on federal drug charges.
The community, I think, should have some distrust in their government if they're going to allow this kind of activity to go on for this extended period of time. To me, that needs to be asked and answered.
Court records show the pair had been under federal investigation for 3 years. Prosecutors alleging in different instances the pair stole kilos of cocaine and put those drugs back out on the streets for their own profit. Now, this investigation even getting the attention of State Attorney General Dave Yost.
If there is a conviction, I think there will be some questions raised in certain kinds of cases.
Columbus City Attorney Zach Klein says reviewing cases the officers were involved
student and then area schools really throughout the Miami Valley.
I'm looking for all students that are a part of underrepresented groups, so whether it's socioeconomic, racial, or whatever it may be.
Glover told me that the inspiration behind this project is because she wishes that back when she was in high school here in Dayton, she had a similar program that she could have gone to. Now, I've linked the information for the Take Flight program and the Legal Immersion program in the web version of this story on Dayton247now.com for any parents or students who want to learn more. Back to you.
Lydia, thank you. On the eve of the 1-year anniversary of the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost vowing to get answers for the state's federal lawsuit against Norfolk Southern, no matter how long it takes. Here's Terry Sullivan.
At the end of the day, we need answers, and answers don't come in a minute. We're going to have to let this process play out, and we intend to do that.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost offering an update into the state's federal lawsuit against Norfolk Southern. Last year's train derailment in East Palestine released more than 1 million gallons of hazardous chemicals into the environment.
Despite the rumors that you may have heard that settlement is in the works or is imminent, from the point of view of the state of Ohio, nothing could be farther from the truth. There's simply too many answers that we don't have, and no responsible public official should be pushing to reach a final conclusion or a resolution on this lawsuit.
The NTSB is investigating the cause of the derailment, but has yet to issue its findings. Yo says that report might not have all the answers his office is looking for. In Columbus, I'm Terry Sullivan reporting.
New information on a new massive convenience store coming to Huber Heights. Adam is at the Now desk, and what's going on?
So this involves Buc-ee's, that location going at the intersection of 235 and I-70. The Ohio Department of Transportation sending us a statement about the work involved in preparing the area. Says in part, quote, ODOT is participating with the city of Huber Heights, Buc-ee's, and a consultant on a traffic study. That study is consistent with other major employers or businesses that come into Ohio. We don't have a timeline to share. Now, this will be Buc-ee's first Ohio location and one of the company's largest. Still not clear yet when it would open. Military and overseas absentee voting starts today for the March primary election. Here's a few other dates to keep in mind. Regular absentee and early in-person voting is on February 21st. Primary election day is March 19th. Polls open at 6:30 a.m., close at 7:30 p.m.
Dayton 24/7 now once again teaming up with the Humane Society of Greater Dayton to find forever homes for animals across the Miami Valley. Join us Thursday, February 8th for the 4th annual Epic Pet Give-a-thon. You can show your support and donate now by scanning the QR code on your screen or by texting EPIC24 to 76278.
Overdoses are up in states that have decriminalized drugs. We're going to look at how those states are now responding tonight.
And a local organization protesting outside a congressman's office tonight, what they're calling for in the Middle East.
And just how long this sunshine will last, we'll talk about that coming up in your forecast. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
That's hail falling across the Fresno, California region on Thursday. There was so much it almost looks like snow on the ground. It was all part of that atmospheric river that also brought floods and heavy snow. And when it was all over, a double end-to-end rainbow appeared in the sky. We end the week in Japan, where a majestic lenticular cloud appeared over Mount Fuji.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
This week, Oregon declared a fentanyl state of emergency in Portland just years after officials there decriminalized drug possession. Janae Bowens has an in-depth look at the impact of the drug legalization movement.
Oregon is taking a bold step with the fentanyl crisis. On Tuesday, the governor declared a fentanyl state of emergency in Portland for 90 days. Overdose deaths from synthetic opioids have increased by 533% in that area from 2018 to 2022.
The long-term solution is to make sure that anybody in Oregon, not just in Portland, that is ready to seek a pathway to recovery, that they have a place to get the treatment they need.
The move comes years after the state decriminalized all drugs back in 2020. Other states and cities have done the same, with the rationale being to treat drug use and dependence as a health and social issue, not one of criminal justice.
If they didn't see this coming, the rest of the world did.
Sergeant Betsy Smith with the National Police Association says decriminalizing drugs doesn't work because there's a disconnect with the mental health care system.
A part of their sentence should be drug rehabilitation.
So that leads us to today's question of the day. For today's question, we want to know what factor has contributed most to the fentanyl crisis. Share your opinion by voting on this poll at the Dayton247now.com. Click on the question of the day heading in the news tab. Now, we do have the results from yesterday's question of the day. We asked, should people who enter the U.S. illegally across the southern border be returned to their home countries while awaiting for asylum? Of just under 14,000 votes, 94% of you said yes, 6% said no.
All right, guess what, Tim?
Oh, it's
Guess
Friday.
what? We did it. It's Friday.
We
it's
made
Friday.
it.
You picked a good time to fill in.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Friday.
look at
Well,
that.
it's not really your Friday, but it's our Friday. So.
It is my Wednesday, so we're getting there.
Sorry to hear that.
It's fine. The weekend's not bad.
You got a nice little forecast to talk about, though.
Yeah, it really is. You guys will actually like me today. We have a good forecast on hand. We had a little bit of sunshine. Well, it doesn't really bother me much. He's a cute little groundhog. We'll give him that. Nice sunny conditions, a little bit of cloud cover mixed in there today. Now, high pressure above the Great Lakes moving down into the region will bring us some pretty spectacular weather the next couple of days. So you'll see that here through the morning tomorrow. Absolutely nothing, crystal clear blue sky. So a really nice Saturday, change of pace. The past couple Saturdays we've seen have been a little cloudy, dreary, cold, rainy, maybe even a little bit of snow mixing in. So a nice change of pace here, and that carries over into Sunday as well, and even your Monday to start your next work week.
Well, the Greater Dayton Peace Coalition hosted a peaceful protest outside of Congressman Mike Turner's office in Dayton today. Now, they're protesting the ongoing war in Gaza and sounding the alarm, that they believe the government is leading the U.S. to more war. This after Congressman Turner has advocated the U.S. to strike Iran following the loss of 3 U.S. soldiers.
I would say stop arming Israel with the weapons that they're using on Gaza are supplied by the United States. In many cases, we certainly provide military aid, and that needs to be contingent on Israel behaving as a responsible nation.
Protesters are calling for an immediate and total ceasefire and say they will continue to protest until then.
A story from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal now. Local university now launching a new certificate program to better prepare students for the workforce. Central State University receiving a $500,000 gift from JPMorgan Chase to launch this program. So it's an 18-credit certificate program in business analytics with an optional certification test prep course. So students will receive a certificate in business analytics and technical skills that will allow them to compete for careers in tech. Now, the program aims at giving students the credentials to adjust to the constantly changing tech world. And if you'd like to read more about it, you can go to Dayton247now.com. This story and others like it are under the Dayton Business Journal heading in the news tab.
Well, you may have noticed we're all wearing red today. That's because the first Friday of February every year is National Wear Red Day. It's to highlight the need to raise awareness about heart disease in women. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in women in the U.S., and it has been now for decades. But there are preventative measures that can actually lower your risk. Doctors with Kettering Health say men tend to have heart attacks and strokes at a younger age, but for women, it happens at an older age.
But then women catch up in the postmenopausal period. So in their 50s and 60s, they catch up and even gain on men.
Doctors say women experience more atypical symptoms like nausea, fatigue, and aches in the lower jaw and arm. But what can you do to prevent it? Doctors recommend healthy diets and exercise, getting regular checkups, and no smoking or vaping.
Well, we still need your help tonight. The Super Bowl of Caring is helping to eliminate child hunger in Dayton, so we're collecting donations that'll then be distributed to 3 great organizations: the Food Bank for Love of Children, or Flock, and the House of Bread. If you feel inspired, please take out your phone's camera right now. You scan that QR code you see there on the top right of your screen, and you can make a donation. Every dollar helps. Just $5 feeds a child for a weekend. Now, that donation drive ends February 12th.
All right, now speaking of good old Puxatawny Phil here, temperature outlook. Now we are expecting, if you've been keeping up with the weather the past couple days, some really above average temperatures for the next week or so. But this is the outlook from the Climate Prediction Center for the next 3 months, their seasonal outlook. So I thought it appropriate to show this today and compare to Puxatawny Phil. So right here in the Dayton region specifically, we are expecting warmer than average temperatures. Now you combine that with Phil's forecast and the fact that we have an El Nino, I'm going to go ahead and say I agree with him that we'll see an early spring this year. Tonight, though, temperatures dropping down into the 20s, clouds clearing. So the more clouds we can get out of here, the colder it will get as we get some cooling at the surface. Winds out of the east around 5 to 10 miles per hour.
Dinosaurs are here in Dayton. Coming up, a look at the Dino Fun you can have this weekend.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Dinosaurs are in Dayton. That's right, the Jurassic Quest is in town this weekend. Tej Joshi shows us the dino attractions you can check out.
If you love dinosaurs, listen up. Jurassic Quest is in town right now at the Dayton Convention Center, and they'll be here all weekend long. I mean, take a look around. These dinosaurs are amazing, and some of them are animatronic. It's a huge collection of animatronic dinosaurs, but there are actual baby dinosaurs that you can meet here today as well. Plus, it's not just entertaining for the kids, it's also educational. They have a fossil collection area where there are legitimate real-life fossils. And in addition to the animatronic dinosaurs, the fossils, there's also fun areas where kids can ride dinosaurs. Plus, there's also a big, giant bounce house. All this is just super fun and a great way for you and your family to enjoy this weekend here in downtown Dayton. Like I said, they're going to be open all weekend long here at the convention center. So come down here and have some dino-tastic fun. It is going to be Dynamite. Back to you guys in the studio.
7-day forecast is looking pretty dynamite as well. Saturday and Sunday, again, beautiful weekend on tap here. We haven't had one in a while. Plenty of sunshine and relatively mild temperatures for this time of year, so hopefully get outside and enjoy a little bit. Starting your work week pretty nice as well. We don't really have a chance of rain until we head towards the end of the week. Mostly cloudy skies as we head towards your Thursday. Now Friday, our next weather maker arrives. Temperatures closing in on 60 degrees.
You can come back over if you want.
I was waiting.
You want to come join us?
I was waiting.
I was waiting.
I was just glad you were happy and excited about the spring weather.
Me too.
'Cause I was worried at first. I was like, do you not want the sun?
I was getting so tired of the clouds. What are you talking about not wanting the sun?
That's what I was saying. You weren't being very excited about it, so I wasn't sure. But you were much more excited during that.
Adam says I don't smile enough, and I'm like, I smile all the time.
I don't even know what to say right now.
If you're watching at home, you can keep track.
Oh!